Welcome to Interior Week on the Crew Cab. We are hopping straight into it this morning. All right, here's what I got from last night. So, what I'm going to do, a couple things. I'm going to make this where it sits flush up against this body line. I think I'm going to put it in the brake and put 2 body lines just on the outside of this. And then I'm going to make me a center console area out of some plywood. I ordered some cup holders, and they're not here yet. So I'm just going to rob the ones out of the orange truck and use those for mock-up. And then I'll have this whole center console area. And basically what I got to work on is getting my heater controls right down there below this thing. And then I'll have to go to the hardware store at some point and get some spacers, because you can see that screws out and this one's in. I had 1 spacer, not 2. Get these body lines integrated in with the ones that go right there on the bottom of the dash, I think is how I'm going to do that. And then I'm thinking I'm going to cut up another dash and use this curved section. Just like that. Here's midday update. Center console, halfway built, kind of mocked up. Got all this thing to where it's like halfway working together now. So, a couple notes here. Nothing is bolted. Everything is just kind of hanging loosely. I think I'm going to take this wood back out and make this piece out of 18 gauge steel, so it sits a little lower, because over here it's raised and over there you can see the whole thing. I want this to be like a trap door eventually, so that way I can have access to all this extra space down here. My original goal, my original idea was these things right there. And then this right in the center. And it only goes around, let's see, you can see here. Like, this is the shape of hole that I'll have. Then I was thinking, I don't have anything to go here. This is what would have went there factory on this 4th gen. My other 4th gen outside has 4-wheel drive switch right there, and then like a wall outlet plug in over here. So I'm thinking, put these down here and this up here. So that's what I'm going to work towards getting done. Get all that stuff drilled out, make this out of 18 gauge, make it where there's like a little trap door in there somehow. We're looking like an episode of American Pickers today. Look at this. Look how much we're squatting back here. This is the heaviest table saw I have ever seen in my life. Well, I just got all this stuff. One of my buddies moving out, so he's like, here, come get all this free stuff. I like milk crates because I put all my ratchet straps in there for in the toolbox, which I still got to get a toolbox for this truck. Bunch of Eagle gas cans. There's 2 more down here. An old military gas jug. That gooseneck plate was $20. Oh, I forgot the best part here. Look at this. Little baby Dodge Viper. Bunch of cinder blocks, and then this tricycle for Remy. We're gonna fix her up and get her a vintage tricycle. All right, we're picking up where we left off from last week. I just got off night shift, came home. So the cow hood that I was talking about in the last video, my extra hood out back, I just sold that to a guy, actually. So it's probably a good thing, because somebody else commented on one of these videos and he was like, hey, you keep on making up things to do to this truck, you're never gonna get done. So I don't guess we really needed a cow hood. It was kind of a cool idea. It'd be kind of hard to make it work, I think, because, you know, I got this front end stretched 4 inches right here, and like, you know, it has to go all the way to the windshield to look right, and I think it'd be kind of difficult to do anyway. But either way, there's more hoods out in the world if I decide to change my mind. Anyway, that guy was super cool. He came in here and he was like, oh my God, that's a 4-door, you know? And he was pretty well amazed by this. He was like, that better not have no 350 in it. So I did this number here. That's not a 350. In case you didn't realize that. Anyway, he was like, he went and got his wife out of the truck. He's like, come check this out. So, needless to say, I am very excited for car show season. You know, here in a few months, this thing will probably be painted, more than likely. Anyway, that dude was super cool. He helped me unload this table saw. This thing is ungodly heavy. It is literally just a chunk of steel. But another flat surface in the garage. We can pile more junk right there. So that's good. So we're picking up where we left off. last night before I went into work, I did some piddly activities. Like I vacuumed the truck out, got her nice and clean. I put my metal back in over my wiring harness down here, you know, front too. It goes all the way across. And folded my carpet back down over that, glued it all down. I'll have to trim it, you know, right here where the seal goes. But I'm going to do all that after I get the seals in here. After all this is painted, I set the back seat back in here. It's not even bolted in. So, yeah. So, what we're going to do now, I got this started. So, I got my 6x9 speaker here, and then I got what used to be a block off plate for the vents that are under the dash, the ones that like you pull the little lever on, like right up in here. So I'm going to put 6x9s in that. The other side's already done, but this side I got to finish up right here. And then we're going to do a sound check, make sure it works, which I'm sure it does. It's literally 2 wires. So, and then we're going to go from there and we're going to work on the radio some more. So this thing's kind of taking a shape of its own. When I drew it up, it had more of like a 1960s theme to it. May make another one of these just so that way I can like set them side by side up here and compare them and then pick out which one I like. But this one so far is kind of taking on like a 4th gen type theme. All right, here we are. I welded this thing all together. Really ended up resembling a 4th gen dash plate in here, kind of, sort of. It's got a doubled in radio though, and some round vents. So I think what I'm about to do now is take this back apart, stick the vents and the radio in there, and this thing. I welded studs on the back of it. I did have countersunk holes drilled out, but I did not like those. All these bottom screws are countersunk. It got a little bit of a wave in it over there when I was forming this thing, but that's all right because it's bolted to a straight piece, or it will be. I'm gonna get some hinges for it because it's gonna tilt just like that. I was gonna tilt just right there, but there's like no room. So, you know, if you got to reach all the way up in the front, because there's a lot of room in there. We'll see how that works out. Right there, there's my door locks. So we got electric door locks, kind of similar to the position they were before. I'm gonna stuff this back together, stick some heater ducts in here, so that way, you know, we actually have heat. And then I'm gonna go cruise because this is a pretty nice day, and I want to make sure I even like this, you know, before I even go further. Well, good thing we cruised this truck last night because now it is snowy and this won't be coming out of the garage for a while. Let me show you what I got done last night. Well, all of yesterday. First off, these, because these are cool. Not that. So these are wired into the truck now, and now these ones are on this side. So here's the center console. Here is what we're looking like now. We got it covered. We got one of those aluminum trim strips down there at the bottom. So all this stuff lights up. I'm gonna have to mess with the power on the radio. It did work yesterday, but now I changed one of the power wires around, so apparently it's got a bad connection. Anyway, I lengthened the wires for these, so they work now. All this stuff's plugged in. Go ahead and shut this off. I integrated the duct that goes under this center console into, well, it will be into the truck wiring there. So we will have heat or air coming out of these vents back here once all this gets put together. But I'm gonna have to buy some of those Y connectors because this one will plumb into that one, and obviously it'll go up and connect into the main manifold up there. Got a bunch of pretty brand new pieces of metal here. Any guesses what this is for? All right, so this thing is made and in the truck, all the screws are in. It is how I wanted it. And I had to fill in a couple areas where there was some gaps where I'd cut this plastic. But, you know, we've got us a 4th gen dash in here. It all flows. I'm gonna put a Chevy emblem across this eventually. One of the modern ones, black with the chrome, you know, like what's on the modern Chevys. So we got our glove box over here. That's the important thing. I do have a piece made to fill that in, so that's gonna get done. So here's some more progress. This is another thing I knocked out earlier. So this is finally patched, this area, it's all filled in. And what I did is I welded my bear claw latch to this. It's adjustable with the factory holes, so it has a little bit of movement to move it all around. That shouldn't really be a problem, because here's another thing I did. I did this a couple weeks ago. I put this block down here on the hinge. So you just basically set the door on and put the bolts in and it just lines up. So that's really nice. So that makes it a whole lot easier to get lined up. Same thing on the front. I gotta do the other side still whenever I get to tearing that apart. But patch this one too. So right here, like I had to cut this out because when I first put this together, I used these holes that was in this, and there was 5/16 by 18 nuts on the back side, and I should have just welded this to this 1/8 inch plate here. But what I did was cut out reliefs for the nuts back here, or the lower nut at least. So anyway, that's together. This side's done. Then I added to the bottom of the driver's side door. For anybody that remembers when I said these blue truck doors are just a hair shorter than the black truck doors for whatever reason. That truck's a 65, the blue one's 65, the black one's a 64. You know, I don't know, but I still got to do the other side. I made this little cart the other day, so that way you can roll this thing in and out. You know, this helps with space quite a bit. So now we're going to do another one. Good morning, YouTube. It is a beautiful day out here. Finally halfway warm outside. The snow has melted and we have all kinds of good news and goodies to show you. So walking straight past there, we're coming back here. Maximus is officially a sponsored YouTube build now, but we'll get to that in just a second. There's more. We've really made out good this week with all kinds of good free stuff. We got a mini lathe, a mini drill press slash mill. We got a cabinet here. Actually, look at this thing. That says September 26, 1990. So that thing's older than I am. But we're going to paint it. We're just going to rattle can it blue. And we're going to stack a whole bunch of tools and stuff in there. Then we have this table. And we're going to put some casters on the bottom of that. And this truck bed is going to go on there whenever we get ready to paint, which is also coming up. And then we got a whole bunch of woodworking tools. We got some skill saws, jigsaw, a router, and a couple electric impacts. So all good stuff. All probably older than I am. So anyway, let's see what's in this box. So this has been in the works for a while now. I'm super excited about this. This box is from MaxPeedingRods. There's some goodies inside. So you guys can use the fan code MONSTER and get 10% off all of MaxPeedingRods parts on their website. So we're gonna cut this open. Check this out. This is right at the top of the box. This thing is sweet. That's definitely going on a toolbox. All right. So in this box, we have a 7,500 pound air spring kit. Oh, there's another one. Sweet. So 7,500 pound air spring kit for Dodge Ram 2500 and 3500. Painted blue already. Beautiful. Look at these bad boys. Yeah, these are nice. So we got the whole setup in this box. We got all the brackets, all the mounting hardware. We got our hoses. And then in this box over here, we got the compressor and a controller kit. So let's pull that out and check this out. So we got some wire loom to protect our wiring, mounting hardware, wiring harness, and of course the main part, the compressor. Pretty sweet. I'm happy with this stuff. And then at the very bottom, it looks like we got some more air hose and a bracket or a U-bolt to install. And here's our wireless controller. This is gonna be sweet. Of course, I'm super excited to get these put on the truck, but we're gonna wait till the next video. We're gonna continue with the theme that we have going on here. This is interior week still. But once we get these on the truck, we're gonna put her to work. We're gonna load her down. The reason I really needed air springs, I was gonna order these regardless of if they sent them to me or not. But, you know, putting these 35s on here, everybody can probably remember if they're a longtime viewer of this channel, like when I had these 33s on here, these wheels and tires, and before it was a dually, I put 2 inches of lift in the back, and it had enough clearance that, you know, I could yank my trailer around and it wasn't an issue. But then I put these 35s on there and raised the front, which kind of, you know, so we're pretty much back in the same situation we were before I put the 2.5 inch lift back here. I just want to make sure that whenever I'm pulling a trailer, I don't bottom out, because I've done a lot of metal work to these and I really don't want to see it get squished up, because it was starting to squish up the inner fender on the fleet side bed whenever I had a trailer on here and I would hit bumps. So staying on the theme of interior week, I got this thing mounted. You know, once I get all this stuff painted, this I'm gonna paint all the black plastic. I'm gonna paint the same color as the rest of the dash, and it's gonna be this metallic gray color. And then anywhere that there's like a gap like that, I'm just gonna put a thin layer of black silicone or black caulk over it, something of that nature. But all this is in. This looks really good. Another thing I got to do with this radio before we are fully finished up is it comes with a USB port and an aux port and also a reverse camera. So I got to get all that figured out. I'm guessing I can put the aux port and stuff like right up through here. I think that'll work out pretty good. So it's made. We're gonna paint this thing blue, and then I'm gonna paint the shelf that goes under here black, and it's gonna look pretty good. Well, this has gone from interior week to, I guess, making tables week. So I got the shop table done. It turned out really good. I haven't even got any projects up here yet. Guess what I just went and bought that's now gonna be a table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not your average 350. This came out of a first gen Viper. She had a bad day. But that's gonna be one sweet coffee table. I had no idea I was gonna buy this thing today. I was just sitting there screwing around and on Marketplace, and this thing popped up. And it was only 30 minutes away, and it was really cheap. I was like, you know what? I think we can waste a few bucks on that thing. But I don't have the engine hoist. My dad has that. And I don't have an engine stand. So, good thing I built this table. So I guess the dilemma now is going to be, how do I get it out of the truck? I think I'm going to have to, we'll see. You can see here, this thing experienced some serious carnage. Oh, wow. I just realized part of the oil pan's gone too. Oh, wow. Yep, that's stuck down in there. Wonder if it destroyed the camshaft. Yeah, you can see there part of the wall of that cylinder. That one's screwed up too. Yep. So I bought this thing. I'm going to make a coffee table out of it. I have a pretty decent idea of how I'm going to make this thing. But my intention is to get this built and sell it. If you guys see this and you decide that you want this and you got any special preferences on color or anything else, please give me a shout. So I'm going to put my Snapchat name up in the description of this video. So if you guys want to contact me about this or literally anything else about questions on the truck, or you can just follow me and get daily updates. I'm always posting stuff on there that YouTube does not see, raw and unedited. It's not that bad, but yeah, you definitely get a lot more stuff, you know, that YouTube would not see. Some random things that I'm just doing on a daily basis on the weekends, fixing airplanes, that definitely does not end up on YouTube, but that happens. I am going to call it a week for this video. We've got all these different side projects going on, and you know, we kind of took off from interior week. What I was really going for on the truck, I got done, so the important part was done. What I'm doing next on the truck is prepping for paint. So that's coming up real soon. I intend to have this thing in primer by April, I'd say, and it's going to be the beginning of March here in a minute. This week's video, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting MaxPeedingRods airbag system on this truck, and then before I get this thing painted and before I take the bed off to sit on this table, that's the main reason I built this table, is for when I pick this bed up and set it on there. Make it a lot easier to paint. It'll have somewhere to go while I'm spraying the back of the cab. But once we get these airbags on here, we are going to hook a trailer to this truck and we are going to ops check it. And I'm talking about a pretty heavy trailer, a gooseneck with a skid steer. We're going to see what Maximus is made of. So all that is coming up. Definitely like, definitely subscribe if you watch this whole video. That's like going out to eat, not leaving a tip at this point. So subscribe. And add me on Snapchat. You get to see all the daily updates on Maximus, the orange truck, which is parked way over there. Even that thing sometimes. And whatever other projects we're working on. Like this. But we will see you guys next week.